Good morning, everybody. I hope you're having a great day so far. And today we're going to be learning about how God is our healer. But before we do all of that, I want us to all stand up and learn some stretches, because stretching is really, really good for you and helps you focus. And we're going to have a little bit of a longer story today. So let's stand up. First thing we're going to do is reach really tall and reach for the ceiling, as high as you can go. And then we're going to go to one side. Stretch the side. And then to the other side. And stretch down to your toes. I want to see who can touch your toes. And if you can, I want you to say, I can touch my toes. All right, great job, everybody. Now that we're stretched and ready to go, you can go ahead and take a seat. I'm going to have a very special guest read you a book today. She's my neighbor, and she's also a preschool teacher, and her name is Mrs. Mullen, and she's really, really good at reading stories. So let's sit tight and really listen to what Mrs. Mullen is reading.
All right, I am going to read the story from the Bible in Luke 8, and the title is A Little Girl and a Poor Frail Lady. There was once a little girl who didn't get out of bed one morning, or the next, or the next. In fact, she didn't get out of bed for a whole month. She was very sick, and no one knew how to make her better. Jairus was her daddy, and he loved her. One day, he was sitting by her bed, holding her hand, wishing there was something he can do. I know, he said. He jumped to his feet, put on his coat, kissed his daughter, ran down the steps, past the servants, out of the house, through the gates, along the road, into the town, up the steps, and into the temple. He fought his way through all the people until at last he found who he was looking for. Jesus, he said, falling at Jesus' feet. My daughter, he pleaded, please. But he didn't need to beg, because before he'd even finished speaking, Jesus reached out his hand and helped him up. I'll come at once, Jesus said. Jairus' eyes filled with tears. Jesus was coming. It would be all right. In those days, of course, they didn't have ambulances, so they had to go by foot. Jesus' helpers knew that he would heal the sick girl, but they must hurry. If Jesus didn't get there soon, it would be too late. But everyone was in the way, hustling and bustling, jostling and pressing, pushing and shoving, squishing and squashing. The disciples ran ahead, forcing back the crowd. Suddenly, Jesus stopped. His friends looked back. What was he doing? Who touched me? Jesus asked, because he felt power go out of him. Me, said a frail lady, looking down at the ground, because she was ashamed. The poor lady had been sick for 12 years, and she had to get well. She knew if she only touched Jesus' coat, she would be healed. So she touched his coat, and instantly she was well. We don't have time, Jesus' friend said. But Jesus always had time. He reached out his hands and gently lifted her head. He looked into her eyes and smiled. You believed, he said, wiping a tear from her eye, and now you are well. Just then, Jairus' servant rushed up to Jairus. It's too late, he said breathlessly. Your daughter is dead. Jesus turned to Jairus. It's not too late, Jesus said. Trust me. At Jairus' house, everyone was crying, but Jesus said, I'm going to wake her up. Everyone laughed at him because they knew she was dead. Jesus walked into the little girl's bedroom, and there, lying in the corner, in the shadows, was the still little figure. Jesus sat on the bed and took her pale hand. Honey, he said, it's time to get up. And he reached down into death and gently brought the little girl back to life. The little girl woke up, rubbed her eyes as if she'd just had a good night's sleep, and leapt out of bed. Jesus threw open the shutters and sunlight flooded the dark room. Hungry? Jesus asked. She nodded. Jesus called to her family, bring this little girl some breakfast. Jesus helped and healed many people like this. He made blind people see. He made deaf people hear. He made lame people walk. Jesus was making the sad things come untrue. He was mending God's broken world.
How did you guys like the story? Mrs. Mullen is such a good reader. I'm going to summarize this for just a minute for us. So, a guy named Jairus walked up to Jesus. And he was really, really scared, and he was running towards Jesus because his daughter was really sick and wanted him to save her. And so Jesus said he would go and help her. And on the way there was an old woman who had been sick for a very long time. And she knew that if she was just able to touch Jesus, that he would save her, because she believed in him that much that he could heal her. And as soon as she touched him, she was healed, and she wasn't sick anymore. And so they continued to go to the girl's house. And once they got there, Jesus went up to the little girl, laid his hands on her, and told her to wake up. And as soon as she woke up, she was healed, and she was able to do everything like she could before she was sick again. And everybody was so thankful that God had saved them and God had healed them. So I just want you to know that God can heal whatever is hurting in your life too. I did gymnastics growing up, and I was at a gymnastics meet one time, and I did a flip off of a bar, and I landed wrong with my leg straight, and I ended up breaking my leg. And I was really sad, and it really hurt, and I wasn't able to do gymnastics anymore for a while. But I trusted in God, and I knew that he would make me better. And eventually my leg got better. And God can do that in your life too. So we're going to do a craft that talks about this, and I'll explain it now. So this is the craft that we're going to be doing today. It says Jesus heals, and there's 2 band-aids that make a cross on it. And you might be wondering, why is there a cross? Well, like we talked about earlier, when Jesus came to earth, he had to die on a cross so that we could be forgiven. And using this cross on this paper helps us remember that Jesus saved us, and just like he saves, he also heals. And this is a good reminder for us to do this. And also there's other things written on there and what Jesus can heal. And I wrote sadness, pain, loneliness, and sickness. And you can write whatever you want on there on what you want God to heal you for. What you'll need today is 2 pieces of construction paper that have 2 different colors. And if you don't have construction paper, you just use regular paper, that's fine. You'll need scissors, and you will need markers. And the last thing that you'll need are 2 band-aids. Let's get started. Before we start, I almost forgot, you also need tape or a glue stick. First thing I'm going to do is draw a heart. And this one's going to be a little bit smaller than the one I make because I want my red to be on the bottom. So this one's going to be a little bit bigger. So this is what it will look like when it's all finished. What did you guys write on yours? Now we're going to sing a song that my friend Nora is going to sing for you, and it's called Healer.
You hold my every moment. You calm my raging seas. You walk with me through fire and heal all my disease. I trust in you. I trust Jesus, you're all I need.
I just love that song and the words in that song. And Nora just sang it so beautifully. And I hope that when you're feeling sad, when you're sick or hurt, that you can just remember this song and know that God is our healer and that He's there for you and He's going to help you.